We're calling and we're putting in a summons for timestamp Drake. That's the dude that should be arriving, but we're getting these kind of things now. But this dude is a worldwide artist that just went through a world title fight. It's still facts over feelings. You still have to manage. You have to manage this battle that you was just in and manage this brand that you have took damn near 20 years to get where it's at. Has he been affected by the battle, and is he trying to ignore it and act like it didn't happen? You can be the smartest man in the world, but you better hire a lawyer when you go to court. There's 100 years of trickery and understanding and interpreting of the law that your smarts and your wit ain't gonna be able to make you through. When you come in and you as talented as Drake is, your talent spearheads you through the process and you hijack the process. You get out of deals that you signed to the algorithm. This is only for the algorithm adders. I ain't talking about that's stealing waves, riding waves. I'm talking about for generals that's adding to algorithms. And so I think Drake somewhere along the line thought he was so powerful that a war couldn't pop off. That problems really couldn't pop off because people needed them. And people in their thirst for attention, their thirst for this game, their thirst for a #1 record, their thirst for chart placement, it'll keep them in check. It's the old saying about fear and love. He thought love would keep people in check. I've always told people it's fear that keeps us in check. The mistakes Drake has made along his illustrious career, one of the biggest artists ever in music, is he never connected with the people that had the information.
Man, niggas want to Loon me to death. Salute, Loon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my man, Loon.
That's my man, too.
Both Loons. Old Loon, new Loon, both Loons.
Okay.
Yeah,
All ops must know it's up there and it's stuck there, nigga.
When it's up there, man, it's stuck there.
Shut up.
Yo, let's take a break from the show. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Yeah, I said it, I meant it. It's on the flow. Get it. It's on the flow at Prize Picks. Get it. It's on the flow at Prize Picks. Let me explain something to you. They turning $10 into $1,000 at Prize Picks. You use my code IUTP and you a new sign up. Man, guess what? We shoot something to you, put something on the name, not the game, and put something in your bank. You hear me? Man, listen, pick up what I'm putting down, man. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. All you got to do is test your skills. You ran with Steph Curry, put yours on Steph Curry. You ran with LeBron, put yours on LeBron. You ran with Saquon Barkley, put yours on. Yeah, that's how it go. Caitlin Clark, put yours on, right? And if you support me, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Do yourself a favor. Sign up right now, prizepicks.com. Use my code IUTP. Ain't nothing bigger than this airplane. It's up there. Let's get back to the show. Welcome to It's Up There podcast. I go by Big Loon, your active and attractive host for another episode of the fastest growing podcast on the market right now. I want to thank every single person that clicks any one of my videos, subscribes, likes, shares, however you involved or engage with our side of this culture. I want to thank you from the center of my soul. It's Up There podcast is the leader of the new school, and I don't see anyone out there disputing that. So I want to thank you guys for riding with us as we roll through this industry and build something monumental that can withstand the weather and the rain, right? It's Up There podcast. Go to patreon.com. It's Up There podcast for more of the vibes to tap in with me personally. The website is loading. Merch is loading. I appreciate the love out there. We got things I want to talk about today. I pop in here and there and give y'all these solo one-on-ones. Soon I'm going to be back in my bag where it's just hella consistent, right? Because I can tell you guys really enjoy them. The numbers go up every single time. And this part of the business usually lives behind the paywall. But we got something in store new for our paywall customers. And I think they're going to appreciate that. So everyone that's here right now, however you support me, thank you. There's a lot going on in the industry, a lot going on in the game. And we're going to speak about it. Before I get into a topic, I do want to say Rick Ross just had his car show. For those unaware, Rick Ross has a very successful car show in Atlanta. He's ran into some red tape with the state due to the number of people that come flying in to come on his property to go to this car show. They say they pay top dollar. So this time I think they may have had some forecasting issues as it pertains to ticket sales. It looks like there was some pushback saying, hey, a lot of people didn't get in. I'm not sure if that's the case. I really don't know what happened. But interesting conversation me and a homeboy was speaking about was Rick Ross's money, because I essentially heard Joe Budden come out and say, yo, if I was Meek Mill, Wale, any of those guys that had business with Rick Ross, then I would audit Ross. What he's insinuating is that Ross is balling way too hard to not have stolen some of the label tricks as it pertains to how they benefit from the artists in ways that the artists may not be privy to, right? So I think that's what the insinuation is. He spoke to the fact that horses were eating hay from out of a Ferrari, right? Of course, for whatever reason, Rick Ross does these outlandish things, right? And he shows off his wealth in that way. But I want to talk about the fact that, number one, Joe Budden wants, for all intensive purposes, he wants the people who were signed to Ross and MMG to basically audit him. He think there's some money hidden somewhere because this dude is doing far too well, in Joe Budden's opinion. But I was speaking to one of my friends and I said, man, I think Rick Ross got the game damn near through the pandemic. It seemed like he had a rush of money through the pandemic. He was hustling before that. See, a lot of people don't know this, but if you were in position and that pandemic hit, depending on what industry you was in, you made a shit ton of money. And I believe Rick Ross to be one of those people that got in and was in position. The pandemic hit, and I think he liquidated most of the restaurants and things like that, and then moved into real estate. And I think the real estate play, that's long-term play. That you really can't counsel me if I got a bunch of real estate. I'm not dependent on my celebrity for my next meal. And that's what happens. A lot of the rappers, a lot of the people in the entertainment industry, they rely so much on their celebrity, but they don't understand that that's a fleeting attribute. Because if you've been famous for 10 years and you don't constantly do things that make people remain interested, then you're just a famous person. You had your wave the first 1 or 2 years you got famous. Now, in your 15th year of being this person that is famous, there may not be a real thirst for your celebrity in the market. Now, there may be people that can do things with your celebrity that you can't do. Like you may go on to Love and Hip Hop and it amplify your celebrity that you really couldn't do nothing with it because you've been famous for 20 years and you lost the work ethic somewhere along the road. But someone who, again, has a structure and in position can take that old celebrity, put them on in front of an audience now, put a storyline attached to them, right? There's a way to make this stuff shine out. It don't just shine because of who you are. There's a formula, there's technique, and we'll get to Drake later about how I truly believe he's kind of ignored the technique. You know, the arrogance is a blindfold. People must understand that. And I feel as though Drake has been arrogant in this game because he's reigned supreme for so long and very talented artist and has been able to accomplish things that other people have not been able to accomplish. I want to be clear about that. But there is still structure, infrastructure, and technique that's been in this industry that you must respect. Not style, technique. Not style, technique. Style is how you do something. Technique is how it needs to be done. A lot of you niggas got style in this game, but you don't have technique. And so you got to respect the predecessors, not even if for nothing else, for the information. But we'll get to Drake in just a second. I'm going to deal with Ross and how I think he may have acquired the wealth. I could be wrong, but someone in the comments or, you know, someone react and let me know what your feelings is. But I truly believe that Ross had a bunch of the checkers, the wing stops, because if you notice, he's not heavy on wing stop no more. He's not heavy on checkers no more. You know, if he's asked about it, it's a part of his brand, so he may not shoot it down, but it doesn't seem like he's invested in the same way. At the car shows, you don't see checkers And Wingstop, at least I don't. There's no front-facing market or any deliverables that I can see that Wingstop had any involvement or Checkers had any involvement. I truly believe during the pandemic, he dumped all of that. He also has the liquor, the Bel Air liquor. I think he's gonna keep the Bel Air liquor. That company he's involved with Bert, who is another person that's did high-level business for a long time. But I believe Ross acquired his money. Now I think his money lives in real estate, but I do think during the pandemic something happened with the Wingstop talk and the restaurant talk. Something happened. He got away from all of that, and it seemed like he popped up in real estate and just started being on these different work sites where he was demolishing properties and rebuilding them. I remember he bought Meek's property. He bought a property on the West Coast, and I believe he is in the business of flipping houses, and he transitioned whatever wealth he had that may have 3 or 4x did the pandemic, maybe even 5x in the pandemic, and got into real estate, and now that placed him in a very interesting financial situation. But he's doing well if you pay attention to the business side of things, right? He's clearly in the know of this real estate game. When you make a $30 million purchase and go to tearing shit down, like, y'all know what's going on. Somebody got a plan and an understanding as to what it'll look like around here in the future. And I think he's one of those people that's been paying attention. And so I believe the theme for things like that is opportunities and knowing when to tap into the opportunities. I know I come off to people like I'm always kicking game, and that's just part of who I am. That's just who I am, right? I'm a problem solver. I'm a game giver. I'm a certified real. You dig what I'm saying? I'm one of them guys, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, throughout this journey, y'all will be able to see other sides of me, because, you know, I come from a background where I have a bunch of different talents and a bunch of different understandings on things, right? A bunch of different ways to navigate scenarios and things that I can show and shine and give people insight about. And I think as we continue to move, you guys will be able to see more and more of that. I mean, we got a lot to talk about today, man. We're going to talk about Drake featuring on what they're calling a spoof of a song. And we're going to get some reviews as to what the actual people are feeling about this. Also, we're going to talk about Kanye West and The Dream. They've been hit with SA lawsuits, not criminal, but lawsuits. We're also going to talk about Cardi B and Bia. And then, you know, we may get out of here after that. I wanted to talk a little about Glenn Big Baby Davis and what he has going on. I think he has a very interesting case. And for me, he seemed really media trained on this Van Lathan interview that I seen. It almost comes off as fake. He was so media trained. You know, it's almost like someone has told him, like, you got to talk like this. And when you go through the NBA, I'm sure you take certain courses and classes that provide you with a level of understanding of how to speak. And so again, some of us will get it, but others, it will just fall flat and it'll come off as fake, right? But I think his case is interesting, and we'll get to that at some other point when we can have a real conversation about the NBA, the insurance fraud surrounding the NBA, what the players need after retiring from the NBA. Like, there's conversation to be had surrounding this whole professional athlete insurance bubble. Like, people tend to look at it and say those guys are doing the wrong thing, but sometimes I ask you to bear witness to a lifestyle that you cannot sustain. You may not understand what it's like to have a house that your family think is paid for, but the taxes is really crippling you every single year. Right? You don't understand what it feels like to be in those shadow waters, man. And sometimes getting money destroys you. Sometimes people win the lotto and their life is completely destroyed. They no longer have that structure in their life. You got to create a new structure when you get a certain amount of money, or something may happen to you. So let's talk about Drake. Unless you've been under a rock, you know, over the past few months, Drake and Kendrick Lamar has been in a fierce battle for top shotter as it pertains to the rap world. These guys have dropped, I believe, 6 to 7 songs apiece, going at each other as they attempt to dissect one another lyrically and expose each other in front of millions and millions of people. There's been a lot of scandal surrounding it. There's been a lot of monumental stats surrounding it. But what we're going to look at today is Drake's comeback. And sometimes you say comeback and it feels like he lost. But Drake has to manage this thing still. And what it feels like with some of these drops, right? You got the Sexy Red drop, and we'll get the Sexy Red. I believe she may be under the control of white people at labels. I'm not sure. And it may not necessarily be white people, but I do believe there's a real corporate interest. They're corporatizing Sexy Red. And the farther you go right with it, the more they applaud you, because they understand that's probably the only thing can land while you simultaneously do every white platform that is not going to resonate with you when things start to hit the fan. So Drake drops a Sexy Red feature. I believe him to owe Sexy Red that. I believe him and Sexy Red to have some sort of relationship where he feels like, yo, I'm going to be on your first album. And I hope that the song does well. I think they may have swapped because she was on his, and she is in her arc right now. She's in a very good position, but she's in a very fickle industry, right? When we pay attention to what's happening, even with the person who we're speaking about, Drake, you see this industry is fickle. But let's read this complex article about this new Drake song and what he said. Drake features on new song Wagon Delala. On Monday, June 3rd, social media personality Snow D released a parody of Plain White T's 2000 smash hit Hey There Delilah. To the surprise of many, Drake appeared on the second verse. Let's listen. Shout out to Toronto, but this dude is a worldwide artist that just went through a world title fight. It's still facts over feelings. You still have to manage. You have to manage this battle that you was just in and manage this brand that you have took damn near 20 years to get where it's at. You don't just disregard the brand with the level of carelessness to continue to drop these songs that's aimed out of the direction what people are continuing to say you lost yourself in. And I know sometimes it's internet fodder, but I'm not sure if right now this is internet fodder. Like, we're summoning timestamp Drake. He has to come out. And so I asked myself, what is Drake thinking doing a spoof record after that kind of battle? Like, what's the mindset behind that? What are we, from a brand perspective, what are we trying to accomplish? Or are we just ignoring it? We just trying to come back outside like we didn't have a fight yesterday? Like, you can't just come back on the block like we didn't see. Y'all just was scrapping, dog. And it looked like you lost. And everybody thought you was the man. And then you start to hear the statistics fly. About, yo, this is the first song of Drake's that hasn't charted, that hasn't been well received. And so you ask yourself, yo, is this a narrative being pushed on Drake, or what is happening? I truly believe that he's did a terrible job at managing this whole debacle. From the battle all the way down to exiting the battle, even into right now. I think they're doing a terrible job at managing this. But I believe arrogance is a blindfold, and Drake has been blinded for far too long. One thing I've never seen Drake do is link with the guys with the information. I've never seen him do that. And I believe that at this point comes back to bite him, because the information needed to navigate in these kind of waters, you can only get from a person that's been in these kind of waters. So what I want to do is I want to take a pulse on the real world, and I want to listen to what some of the people online are thinking about Drake's new song. Let's pay attention.
Drake just surprised everyone and dropped a brand new song, and it's not what you think. If you want to stay updated on the latest Drake news, make sure to give me a follow. So Drake just dropped a new song, and it's a remix of Hey There Delilah. Yes, you heard that right. Yeah, Drake decided to drop a remix with one of his OVO artists of Hey There Delilah, except now it's a Toronto and Canadian version. And I'm not gonna hold you, this song is kind of actually absolutely garbage. And it's like, what did Kendrick Lamar really do to this man? First off, this dude was spitting over BBL Drizzy Oh, BBL Drizzy. Now he's doing a Hey There Delilah remix. Honestly, if this was just like a straight up Hey There Delilah remix, you know, Drake just singing his heart out, it would honestly be pretty fire. I think the thing that's throwing a lot of people off is they expected Drake to get serious with his music or drop some new music himself after his beef with Kendrick Lamar, but it seems like he's been going in the opposite direction. And between this song and J. Cole going, it's grippy. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar has done irreversible things to these two men's career.
When Drake said he had music coming this summer, was he talking about Wangwan Delilah? Wangwan Delilah. Straight trash. I thought that was some AI stuff. I was hoping it was AI. And with everyone's reaction.
So Drake dropped a new song. And no, this ain't any song. This is a Hey Delilah remix. Whatever you think this sound like, you're wrong. Whatever you thinking, get it out your head. I couldn't believe my ears. Like, I hope this is fake. I hope this is AI. I'm bamboozled. I'm stuttering. Play the clip.
Walk on Delilah, no.
He just dropped a brand new
Some of the Drake fans are not being as receptive to this record as probably he will want them to be now. If you're making a regional song after a battle of this magnitude, it just cannot be overstated how much you guys are mishandling this brand that has been built over the last 10 or 15 years flawlessly. I want to deal with, is there something wrong with Drake at this point? Has he been affected by the battle, and is he trying to like ignore it and act like it didn't happen? Unfortunately, that's just not how these kind of things work. But I'm going to push back on the narrative that he owns part of people's contract and all of this crocker shit that they've presented to the media that's really been birthed on I believe, one platform. But I want to push back on that, and I want to provide some context of what I believe. I think Drake has been so talented for so long that the level of confidence he's been able to garner over the last 10 or 15 years. I mean, because when you put it in perspective, you look at some of the records that he's been able to break. We talk about Michael Jackson. We talk about the Beatles, right? We talk about some of music's giants that Drake has ran alongside of as it pertains to sales, not favorites in the culture and people listening and thinking, he can out-rap. We talking about hard numbers when we look at the sales and the tours and the certain things that's involved with making money in this industry. One reason I want to push back on the fact that he owns everyone's music, because listen, on one end, you can't say that Drake has a percentage of everyone's music or mostly the big artists, or he has a deal with every label that has him eating off every artist. You can't say that on one end and then say he's the only big act that tours this much, insinuating that that's how he's paying the money back that he's received from the label. I don't think those two things can live in the same place. I don't think you can say, yo, he's moving around touring more than any big artist or any artist of that magnitude. Nobody moves around that much. I would say that's part of the deal of like, yo, we give you this upfront money. We eat off the tools, we eat off the sales, the merch, we eat off of whatever we can to try to get that money back. But you are going to guarantee us one tour every year or one tour on each album, or you're going to guarantee us a way or pathway to see this money back. And so if you're counting this fake revenue that everyone says that he's involved with all these different artists, I don't see him in a position to have to tour that much. That's just my thinking. But also, when you get this famous and you're this talented and it happens this way for you, and you break the Beatles records and you break Michael Jackson's records, and you're an artist like Drake, again, arrogance is a blindfold. Confidence is necessary, but arrogance is a blindfold. You don't know enough to be on this journey. How you on this journey? You a talented little mother, but boy, you don't know enough to be on this journey. You can be the smartest man in the world, but you better hire a lawyer when you go to court. There's things that's 100 years of trickery and understanding and interpreting of the law that your smarts and your wit ain't gonna be able to make you through. When you come in and you as talented as Drake is, your talent spearheads you through the process and you hijack the process. You get out of deals that you signed. Bad deals because your talent say get his deals right before he stopped recording. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. the fantasy sports platform that's changing the game for people like us. With Prize Picks, you can test your knowledge with picking over and under for your favorite player stats across a wide variety of sports. Think football, baseball, basketball, and beyond. So why wait? Jump into Prize Picks right now and bring more excitement to game day. Whether you're cheering from the stands or the couch, Prize Picks adds that extra layer of fun for sports excitement. Again, my slogan, why would you put something on the game when you could put something on the name? Let's get into those picks and start winning with Prize Picks today. IUTP code. Let's get back to the show. Mostly the big artists, or he has a deal with every label that has him eating off every artist. You can't say that on one end and then say he's the only big act that tours this much, insinuating that that's how he's paying the money back that he's received from the label. I don't think those two things can live in the same place. I don't think you can say, yo, he's moving around touring more than any big artist or any artist of that magnitude. Nobody moves around that much. I would say that's part of the deal of like, yo, we give you this upfront money. We eat off the tours, we eat off the sales, the merch, we eat off of whatever we can to try to get that money back. But you are going to guarantee us one tour every year or one tour on each album, or you're going to guarantee us a way or pathway to see this money back. And so if you're counting this fake revenue that everyone says that he's involved with all these different artists, I don't see him in a position to have to tour that much. That's just my thinking. But also, when you get this famous and you're this talented and it happens this way for you, and you break the Beatles records and you break Michael Jackson's records, and you're an artist like Drake, again, arrogance is a blindfold. Confidence is necessary, but arrogance is a blindfold. You don't know enough to be on this journey. How you on this journey? You a talented little mother, but boy, you don't know enough to be on this journey. You can be the smartest man in the world, but you better hire a lawyer when you go to court. There's 100 years of trickery and understanding and interpreting of the law that your smarts and your wit ain't gonna be able to make you through. When you come in and you as talented as Drake is, your talent spearheads you through the process and you hijack the process. You get to get out of deals that you signed. Bad deals, because your talent say get his deals right for he stopped recording. So they shred the deals. They modify approaches based on your talent. But there's a level of this game where that talent don't just work. You need technique. And so on Drake's journey, when I seen him coming up in the game and he felt attacked, then of course you're gonna feel attacked like I feel attacked right now. I feel like people are in this media space, right? Powerful young, I can do certain things on my own. I can make things happen, right? But you're gonna feel attacked because you're gonna feel like Caitlin Clark. You're gonna feel like as I came in the game, I put a light on it. I'm adding to the algorithm. This is only for the algorithm adders. I ain't talking about that's stealing waves, riding waves. I'm talking about for generals that's adding to algorithms, that's presenting a different genre of the same sport. When you look at Dr. Umar and Big Loon, it's up there podcast live, that format you will see live forever now. And so if you're Drake, you come into the game and you add into the algorithm and you're going to be attacked by the people before you because you threaten them. Now, as a businessman, do you look at that as business, or from where we come from, do you take that personal? And so now I can never shake your hand because of what you done to me when I first came in the game. Or do 5 years in the game, I shake your hand and we say, boy, y'all tried to stop me, but you couldn't get it done. And they salute that you made it through. So when I look at Drake, I look back on it. And he felt attacked. Things were happening behind the scenes. You heard him rap about it. Feeling as though, yo, they trying to get me out of here. They can feel that I'm next up and they trying to stop it. Part of that's natural. I think he may have took some of that and deposited in a way that wasn't productive for the journey. It's different buckets you put shit in, right? So you got to deposit some of this hate in a way that's still important for the journey. See, I come over there sometime and fuck with my haters just to, what they on, what's they angles, what they saying, what they thinking. Broke ass nigga, what they on? You see what I'm saying? I come over here and fuck with them sometimes just to see what going on. I'm getting intel and information of how the suckers moving in the market. But I ain't taking none of that personal. Them niggas don't know nothing. These niggas is wannabes and has-beens. They ain't having no information, so I ain't taking nothing personal they saying. I'm just trying to stir water to catch fish. And so I think Drake somewhere along the line thought he was so powerful that a war couldn't pop off. That problems really couldn't pop off because people needed them. And people in their thirst for attention, their thirst for this game, their thirst for a number one record, their thirst for chart placement, it'll keep them in check. It's the old saying about fear and love. He thought love would keep people in check. I've always told people it's fear that keep niggas in check. It's fear that keep niggas in check. And so when you think because your talent, people will stay in check, that's more so because of out of love of you. Ain't nobody fearing your talent. Ain't nobody fearing the fact you a hell of a businessman and you understand how to navigate and you can crush them and stop their paper. I know if you get under 50 Cent post right now and say anything, his fans gonna say, you don't want that smoke with him. Man, that dude gonna get at you. You don't wanna. He's known as a shrewd businessman. And a shrewd businessman standing next to a talented artist, and there's real mental gymnastics happening. 100 out of 100 times that artist has issues. When you come in this game, especially with the signs that he saw at the beginning, where he felt like they tried to shut him down, that mean I need to prepare for war. Because at some point in time, someone's going to come with something. Now, there's a skill set to prepare for something and not worry about it. You got to be prepared for war, but I ain't worried about no war. I ain't really looking to go to war, but I'm prepared in case of the war. And I admit, that is a skill itself. Just to even say, yo, I'm going to prepare for something, but not worry about it. That's a skill set. That takes a certain level of skill set just to understand, yo, I'm in this kind of game. You know the kind of money at stake, nigga. A war might pop off at any time. A fight might break out at any time. All this money, a killing may happen at any time. The double cross, the triple cross. Yeah, at any time. This is high stakes gambling. This is an industry been around 50 years. People want to control this thing here. It's a lot of money being made. This high level jujitsu mind games. You got to prepare for the war, but not worry about it. Because whatever you worry about, you give it what? You give it life. You got to know how to fight, but ain't looking for a fight. Dig what I'm saying? The jiu-jitsu man sit there and he calm as hell because he know in the event a fight pop off, I'm probably going to do damage around here. It's the man with no real sense of the combat that has an overarching confidence as to what he going to do when it crack off because he don't know the 2,200 different ways that a nigga can break your jaw. He don't got the intel. It's blind confidence. And the blind man shuffle get you so far, but then it get you so far and then it get you obliterated. I'm not going to really entertain the narrative that Joe and some of these other podcasts put out that, yo, Drake owns a piece of everybody's contract. Like, I'm going to stay away from that. I ain't going to even lend that any credence. I will entertain, though, that Drake confidence has wavered. You got to remember that Drake has been celebrating victories for 10 or 15 years. What could be perceived as a loss really hurts after the victories that's been celebrated, right? So if you went 15 years having the best party and everybody showing up and then on year 16, no number 3 people come, it's a more disappointment than on your first party, only 3 people come. You know what I'm saying? There's disappointment attached to how far you fell from. And I do truly believe that Drake may be feeling the effects of some of this rhetoric and narratives that's been put in the street by Kendrick Lamar. And I know most people don't understand that, yo, you don't need confidence when you at work. Like, you just do the job. If you fix brakes, you fix the brakes. If you got confidence or not. But it's a different thing when you actually make things and put them out into the world. The number one threat to a creator of things is someone that can capture your confidence. And your confidence can be captured from outside of your body, but you have to deal with it internally. And one should not be confused or tricked by the mask, because you got to understand that people can come out and appear confident, but they really have been going through some things that has been crushing what they used to think about themselves. So when I look at Drake, I truly believe his confidence has been wavering since the Kendrick Lamar situation has took place. It felt like he's listening to comedians and podcast guys with one of the bigger brands in the world. It just never made sense. Now one of these people you're listening to has any information about the industry that you are reigning supreme in. Now, how important is confidence for a creator or someone that has to think in real time and use their mind? I was looking at Deontay Wilder over the weekend. And as I watched Deontay Wilder get in that ring and the way that he was fighting, it ain't that his right hand don't pack power anymore. It ain't the fact that he don't know how to throw a right hand anymore. It's the fact that Tyson Fury captured his confidence and he don't believe in it no more. He don't believe in it no more. And you know that by his actions, not by his words, because the mouth can say things that the mind won't ever feel. When you watch Deontay Wilder and he's in the ring and he's giving you one of these, he ain't even fighting. He's giving you this. He's just trying to keep you away from him. That ain't Deontay Wilder. You need to be in there throwing them joints. You need to be in there handling your business. But you wasn't prepared to get knocked out. Not that you needed to worry about getting knocked out, but somewhere along the process, you had to develop your defense as well. A lot of these new age niggas is all offense. They all offense. When they hanging out the one that's cool, when you hanging out the one that ain't cool, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. And so people will look at you if you're someone like Drake or Deontay Wilder or one of these kind of people that's reigned supreme for a while in the industry, and they'll say, man, it's just a loss, man. Pick yourself up. Oh, it ain't over, man. Just keep it going. It's like, it's not just a loss. It's the fashion in which you lose. It's what did I lose? Because if you look at Drake and his aura prior to Kendrick start firing back, you heard a man that was so confident that there was nothing that Kendrick Lamar can do with him. It's like, how much of this have you really considered? And who have you been around that has advised you of what the parameters truly are? So it's not just a loss. It's not just about losing. It's how far you came before you lost. It's the nature of the loss. Was it a vicious loss? Do we feel cheated? Do we feel slighted? Because these things can capture your confidence. But I believe one of the mistakes Drake has made along his illustrious career, one of the biggest artists ever in music, is he never connected with the people that had the information. I guess this is why you saw me on the side, because wasn't nobody in the South in this battle. But you saw me along the Drake and Kendrick battle saying, what is he doing? Oh, he think he don't need the information. He think talent gonna get it done. But they come with 15 years of winning. You never seen him embrace Jay. You don't think Diddy tried to cut Jay down? You don't think some of these people that Jay had to do business with were some of the people that tried to cut him down upon his entry? Because it was business. It's market share. These people don't know who they fucking with. And so it feels like Drake took everything so personal that happened to him on the front end. And again, I don't know how far things went, but he would speak about it being an effort to shut him down from the elites in the music industry. Listen, once you got through that, it's now time to get with these gentlemen and try to figure out the information. I have a deal with Charlamagne the God with my podcast. It ain't just because I'm a fan of Charlamagne and he's one of the people that made the most money in the game. It's for me to be able to actually see the inner workings, to actually see what is offered, what is going on, what is really the moves, how powerful is it? This is the guy that sits on one of the thrones in hip hop. How much of reach do we have? What can they do to tell me at that level what's available or what's distributed? Right? It's things I gotta learn from being in this seat. So you gotta link with the people that has been there. And that's just to get the armor, to know what you need, to get the tools you will use, to get the understanding of how to navigate these shallow waters. As a black artist, as a black podcaster, as a black creator, as a black businessman, as a black entrepreneur. You saw Drake get with Birdman. He quickly got away from Birdman. Got over there with Jay Prince. I'm not sure how involved they are with his everyday business. These more so look like, distant relationships. Premium relationships, but distant at that, right? So not someone that he doesn't care about and he won't answer the call for, but not nobody I call and I speak to on that level that I can really get into the weeds about these conversations with. Where we can work these ideas out about my approach, how I'm doing, what I need to do, the tax game. Because that's where they whooping a lot of these guys at. But that's a totally different thing. I want to take a listen to what Jay-Z told Drake. I think this is interesting because this was a monumental time. I think this was the time where if Drake wasn't emotionally attached to whatever attacks happened and the business was his main priority, I think this is the time where the embrace comes. But it almost felt like Jay-Z and Drake were on songs, and sometimes Drake would still get off of that song, go to the left, and then shoot at them dudes. Pay attention. I think those couple of lines were some of the more important lines on a song to Drake. When you look at it in retrospect. Because here you're dealing with someone in Jay-Z that started a label with 3 people, Dame Dash being involved, having to spawn out of that and still land on my feet, end up being at the head of Def Jam. Do you understand the level of information dude got just from the journey? Just from the journey. Like there's a level of understanding that go along with that just from the journey I don't think people can truly grasp. And you need that. You need the armor, my nigga. You don't just need the gun. The talent is the gun. The armor is the understanding, the information. You need the armor. Because y'all niggas showing up with guns, but your head and chest wide open. Because sure you can out-rap people. Sure you can make a song at any moment. But what happens when they change the narrative on you? Now your talent is being tested. Now everything you think about yourself is being tested. And true, if we're being honest, you really don't know what you are until it is tested. Until it does go on the level of quality control. You really don't know what you are. See, the true test of the bulletproof vest ain't wearing it. It's when something hit it, the durability of it. Can it withstand a hit? I know what you calling it. I know what you say it is. Have it ever been shot? Have it ever been tested? Yeah, we done hung these up and shot it with AK-47s. That's the one I need. Because as you doing this, brother, as they distract you, like what Jay-Z is saying, what they're going to do or try to do is capture your confidence. And now you no longer think how you thought about yourself. So I don't even got to be in the booth with you no more. Once I get into your head, I'm out the way. Now it's you against you. Now it's you against you. I know you got the mask on, but what about the mirror? The mask is what we see. The mirror is what you see. How you truly feel about you? How you truly feel about you? You done let these hating ass niggas capture your confidence. Now you don't even feel how you supposed to feel about yourself. You done went so far in this game and damn near can forget it based on a hater, based on somebody else from the outside because they crept in. And you weren't smart enough to get the armor from people that's already been in this game. How do I ignore that? But you know what? Confidence is such a beautiful thing. It ain't nothing like feeling like you the man and everybody telling you the man. It ain't nothing like that feeling. Niggas spend all their life chasing that feeling. It ain't nothing like everybody as a congregation saying that there go the man right there. It ain't nothing in this world like that. But you would even hear Jay-Z rap about things and he would say, man, first they love you, they hate you, then they love you again. This is him giving you Man, I done been through this. I done saw this. I'm watching. You got to fuck with the watchers, the niggas that's watching. Like when you hear me talk, understand I'm a watcher, homie. I'm paying attention to the game. Far and few in between is like this here. I'm bringing this game back and digesting it, breaking it down like a chemist. I ain't playing with this game. And although confidence is beautiful, it can be shattered or sharpened from afar. And it can shatter your confidence from afar. Never had to even meet you. Never had to be around you. Shatter your confidence. And many men have fallen short because they think that the throne is eternal. It's just like when you got one of them games you on fire. You know, you're a basketball player and everything you shoot up at the rim is going in. It's going to be hard for somebody to tell you don't take that next shot. It's even going to be harder for somebody to tell you that you maybe ain't got that shot no more. Because you remember the days when the crowd went wild, when you had to hit when y'all was down 2 and you hit a 3 and you won the game. This sticks with you. This has an adhesive that sticks with you mentally. And let's be clear, Drake didn't have to bow down to Jay-Z. Or bow down to Ye or none of these niggas. Ye is a little more erratic, but Jay is someone that I think at a certain point after whatever differences was on the table, I think he did try to lean in a little bit and say, yo, I'm going to kind of try to get with you. And there's ways to get information out of that. You know, I believe that was a great misstep not to embrace the wisdom that was Jay-Z or some of these other people in the industry, not even just Jay-Z, but Drake had always took pride in standing on his own and making it in spite of these niggas. But to know the road ahead, you ask someone that's coming back. And coming back is the pertinent part of that. Coming back meaning they did all they could in that game, got all they can get from that game. They're no longer interested in that game. That interest in the game changes everything. When you look at Jay-Z popping rap when he want to, he is no longer interested in living in rap. And so he's someone that got everything he got out of it, and he's on his way back from it. He's heading into politics. He's fucking with tech. He's fucking with whatever other brands and clothes and all these different avenues, these JVs that he's incorporating himself next to and being the founder of companies, right? So he's went and came back. That's who you get the information from. A lot of y'all want to come get the information from someone that's still shooting the 3. Bro, how you do your form? Nigga, I'm shooting right now. I can't tell you about the form. I'm still out here hooping. You nigga want to know my resume. You nigga want to know what I'm doing in my rituals. I'm still balling. But when you look at some of these guys, that's why executive rapper a lot of times is an oxymoron. It's because they got to be an unselfish person. Because when you get that call, you got to say, I done already done that 1,000,000 times. I don't worry about that. Yo, lil' bro, go get that. So to know the road ahead, you ask people that's on their way back. Now, Loon, what does that mean? Basically, it just means a been there, done that type of thing. Half of it felt like Drake didn't want to give something to get something. Or he felt like he was giving something and wasn't getting nothing. But if you go around these kind of people and don't get nothing, it's because you ain't positioned in a way where you can receive nothing. You got to know what you need when you heading in there. Or know where you going. You got to have a vision. It seemed like talent has took Drake so far. I don't even know Drake vision, if I'm being honest. I know he can do anything in the world. He can walk in any building with any brand and get it popping. Loon don't know his vision. Drake never embraced the people with the information. I remember when we used to be young and I would see people ride with some of my homeboys that would get money, but they never would get no money. I couldn't understand it. Until one day it dawned on me, Loon, they don't want no money. Because if you around me every day and I'm getting money and you ain't figured out a way to get no money, you don't want no money. It's money around a money getting nigga. You ain't got to do no magic tricks. I'm getting money. You ain't got to do no hell of a thing. You just got to want a few dollars to get a few dollars if you in this circle. But you niggas don't want nothing. You want it given to you. You want another man to hand you something. You know, there are some people out here you can sell a Bentley with 400,000 miles on it just because it's a Bentley. Just because they're going to be in the driver's seat of a Bentley, it don't matter how the car look. It don't matter about the motor. It don't matter if the brakes bad. Long as they going to be in the driver's seat. They're getting a dysfunctional car as long as they able to drive it. Meaning a rapper will take a CEO position of a failing label just so he can say he a CEO. Versus being a successful artist and going getting the information and then becoming a CEO once you got the information. It's all about the information. Drake never placed himself in position to get any information. Again, I say, I truly believe his confidence may have been tampered with. It may not be gone, but I do truly believe it's in his head. It's the mask and the mirror. I just told you. The mask is what you see. The mirror is what I see. I got to deal with the mirror. Y'all gonna deal with the mask. That's why some of these failed content creators who take pride in dissing and gossiping about people business every single day, I know they miserable. For one, they not making no money doing it and don't nobody care. So when they truly look in the mirror, I know what they're asking themselves. Why isn't it working? What are we doing? What are we not doing right? Well, people just don't care. And you got to deal with that.